All right, I think we are top of an hour, so we can get started with our today's discussion. As I said, so we are more going to focus on the opportunities we have in IT industry, and we are going to talk about various important analytics which will help you to understand, why someone will choose IT industry as their career. Okay, so I know you will be curious to understand how this session is going to be and what are all the things I'm going to learn about, and how does this will change my career and things like that, right? So basically, the first important thing is, let's try to categorize. Okay, so who are the people can attend this session? Okay, and how it will benefit them. Are you part of this category? Are you in the right place where this will benefit you or not? So that's the very important point we are going to discuss today. Okay, so if you are a fresher, okay, so if you are falling under a category of fresher, then this is the right place for you. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to tell you what are the different streams we have in IT industry, and choosing those stream, how it will change your career, how it will make you, get into a right career. And I'm going to show you the right path, especially if you are a fresher, right? And for job seekers, so people who have completed their graduation and still waiting to, hire, still waiting to find out which technology is right for you, still waiting to understand what programming language I should choose for my career. So then this is the session for you. Okay, this session will be a very helpful for you, and it will be an eye opener for you to understand which path I should take when it comes to my career. Then student, if you are pursuing graduation, then you must start providing, I would say you must start giving an importance to your career at this point of the time. You must be having a clear understanding what are the technology today it is demanding, and how should I plan my career in upcoming days. All right, and apart from that, freelancers, there is ample of opportunities. Non-IT candidates, if people are from different industry who wants to get into an IT because of all what is happening today in IT, there is a huge peak need in the IT industry, and they have been hiring so many people. They want people like you who can actually get have a right skill and get into an industry. So I have categorized based on your profile, so this will give you a very clear understanding whether you have to be here or not. If you fall under any of one of these category, then you are in the right session. All right, so in next 20-30 minutes, I'm gonna give you a insights about how exactly the things are happening in IT industry, and which would be a right skill for you to start today. Okay, so if you see here, before we actually get into what kind of technology you must choose, let's first understand today what exactly is trending, what are the technology trends today in the industry. All right, so first one is the web development. Yes, because without web today it is very difficult, right? It is like I would say everyone wants to be on an internet, and everyone wants a web interface. Through that they can talk to people, they can communicate, collaborate, they can do business, they can reach out for various things, they can do consulting, they can provide services. So all that put together happens through the web development, right? So that's why I put that into a very trending state today. Then you have a mobile app development. Obviously everybody is using smartphones today, and we have many apps in our in our mobile, which we definitely need in our day-to-day life. Then we have a Python. These are our programming, Java, .NET, automation and performance testing, cloud computing, obviously machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data science. So these are all kind of a niche skills today, where a lot of industries looking for people having this particular skill, so that you can be get hired, right? So before we get into more of a detail, I just wanted to give you the list of technology today which is on a very high demand. And in that, if you see the first one, the web development is on a higher demand, right? Now just because I am saying it that it is on a demand doesn't justify, right? So you need to understand certain analytics. You need to know what exactly people are looking from you. You need to understand how things are happening in the industry. So that's what we're going to talk about. And we need to always understand before you spend your valuable hours, before you're going to spend your time in something, you must understand that why I should get into an IT industry, why should I have been asked to learn any technology, why I have been asked to learn some programming. So if that's the mindset you have, then I'm going to tell you in few minutes that why it is important, why you have to think about learning something which is very valuable. All right. Now, if we talk about analytics, so the applications we have in the industry, okay, we have almost 2 billion web-based applications in the industry. I'm only talking about web-based because today we are all going to focus more on the web rather than just be the plain Windows application or desktop application. Today, everyone wants to be in internet, right? It's like if I go somewhere, I'll look for whether I have a mobile network, do I have a data, do I have a Wi-Fi. So more than an oxygen, we say, hey, I want a Wi-Fi. Okay, oxygen will come next, right? That's how things have been changing. So we have to accept that, right? We have been more evolving. We wanted to be connected every time to all the people around the world, not just in one place, not just in one country, not just in one state. We want to be connected throughout the world, tell the world that I'm here, you can talk to me anytime. So that's how things have been changing. So over 51% of the people in the world are online, right? So it's like, it's a very good saying that if internet was a country, then that's the most populated country in the world, right? So more than 3.7 billion people online every day, they are coming and going out. So think about the applications which we need to achieve all this. Think about the applications which we have to build for these people who wants to stay online, who wants to be connected, who wants to do business online. So this is what is happening today. This is a very important analytics for you to understand. And every minute, there's 380 applications are getting created. So more than 5.4 lakhs of applications gets created every 24 hours, right? So that's the pace of our application development today. So this is one important analytics to tell you that why you must focus on a software industry. All right. Then moving on. Now, how many internet users are there? So how many people are really want to be online based on the country? Okay, if you see this is a 2022 Feb analytics where China is still on a very high number. They are like more than 1 billion people are on internet and using different applications for their life because they want to make their life more easier than being more complicated, right? They want everything to be online and it's easy for them to maintain. Either it could be a personal things or it could be official business, any kind of stuff. They want to manage everything online. So there are more than 1 billion people. In India, when it was 2020, I remember there were less than 500 there were like around 450 million users. But today this is like 6.58 million people, right? 658 million people are online. So slowly the number of users in India is drastically getting increased because of all this pandemic what we faced. Now nobody wants to touch it, nobody wants to have this kind of a pandemic again, but they want to be very careful. They want to be connected. They want everything to be set up online so that they can still do their work whichever they want to do and they continue it even in any situation. So that's how things have been changing. You see, then you have an US and followed by other countries. So this gives you a next understanding that how people are using internet in various countries. So there are massive users base. That's one important analytics for you. Then let's talk about this most used applications which we have around the world, right? So if you see, the Google stands out way more than higher than any other application, right? It will take more a decade for someone to reach, according to Google, what they say is it will definitely need 10 more years for someone to reach to the users they have. So that's the kind of application, that's the kind of solution they are providing today to the users. That's a very important point, right? So the numbers which you see today on the screen, it is something you are also contributing to this, right? If the Google has 89.08 million people, you are also one of them because we live on these apps. think about one for a minute. If these apps are not there, how it is going to be difficult. Our life will be very, very difficult. I'm telling you the reality, right? Because everything, even Google has registered a name. They have got this name into a dictionary called Google. So now you have an official word called Google in our dictionary. So that's how they have. That's an evolution which they have created in the industry, right? So not only Google.com. So they have various products. And even YouTube is theirs. Then you have maps. You have many of things, right? Translate. They keep coming with a lot of solutions. Google Drive and all that, right? So every competitor, every giant on an internet is trying to build products for users to make their life easy. So that's the very important point we must focus on. Then, what are the most important popular social media platform, right? So again, I'm telling you at least the first 5. I'm very sure people who are attending today will be using at least of these 5 apps which you see on the screen. So you are also putting yourself as one of the person in this number, right? So when it comes to social media platform, definitely Facebook is the dominating organization, which have many apps, or they have acquired many apps today, and people are seamlessly using those apps to be connected on social media. So this is all today our life. I'm telling you the truth, the reality, how we live today. So we are completely depending on the technology. So we are facing the technology and we are using it in day-to-day our life to make our things easier. Okay, all right. Then just imagine how things changed in almost 2 decades. How we have moved from our typical way, or I'd say that how we were manually doing things, and after when we have the technology in our life, how we have moved on. If you see this picture, the left side, it gives you a fair enough idea of how you can compare every single thing to the apps which we have, the application which we have, how these applications have really changed our life, right? If you see, it has a very good example in this image. I'm telling you, like Skype, address book, Twitter's like a small notes, and WordPress, and Instagram, Foursquare, LinkedIn. Okay, so this is what we were, right? We had too many things in our table or in our bag. Now, how many people really see using diaries? They have everywhere, like they have reminders, they have everything on the mobile or on their laptop, right? They have everything on the calendar, so they know what they have to do. So you have everything online today, right? The social media, if you see here, Facebook, Tumblr, Reddit, Blogger, Instagram, so Flickr, all these apps have been developed in a way that it makes users' life easy. That's all they are trying to do, that they are solving problems. If you are a person who wants to really solve the problem, then you are the entrepreneur. You are the person who is technology specialist. Then you are the person who is going to solve problem for people, right? So why I'm talking about this, because I want to tell you that before you choose something in your life, before you decide that okay, I want to be a software engineer, then I must know whether there is a really need for software engineer. Yes, if there is a need, then why suddenly there is so much of need? That's what we are talking about, right? So these are the certain analytics which will be an eye opener for you. Now, what are the most used applications in India? So whatever I put on the screen, you are also using this every day. We have different experiences in different apps. When it comes to the entertainment, now we are seeing either the movies or series, everything online. So we are more depending on entertainment apps like Prime and Hotstar and Netflix. Then we have a social professional community called LinkedIn, Stack Overflow for developers, IRCTC for booking. I know a lot of people have bad experiences with that, but what I'm telling you is, in our life, everything we wanted to do is through online. We want to book a hotel, we go to the sites, the application which offers booking, right? If you want to go and see some movies, we go online. If you want to go and see some videos, we go online. So you want to purchase something, we go to Amazon, we go to Flipkart. So whatever you do or you were doing previously, physically moving from one place to another, today you just need an internet and a laptop or a mobile through which you can do whatever you're seeing on the screen. So that's how things have been moving. That's how we've been moving towards the future. Today everyone wants to be interacting with the application. They want to see how they can make their life easier rather than spending time on something which is not valuable, right? So that's how we have been doing in couple of years now. So this is definitely going to be higher, right? So whatever I have showed you previously, that there is so much of need in the industry. There are so many people who are using these applications. Now if only 51% requires so much of application, now think about rest of the 14% or 50% also joins online, then what will happen to an application? Then the number of users in the world is going to be getting increased day to day, and the next generation which comes into this world definitely will be more depending on the internet. So you need more applications in the coming years. So that's why there is a huge demand in the industry, especially for web development, or completely if you talk about software industry, there is a very high need in the industry. For me, I'm in this industry for 15 years, but I've never seen such a huge need, or such a huge need of employees in the software industry. Currently there been so much hiring. So people who are really thinking about getting into an IT industry, then this is the right time for you. If you are from some other industry, if you are in a break and if you are not sure how to get into an IT industry, then please plan for it. You have many opportunities in the industry today. You just need a right skill. Through that you can get into your dream job which you have been dreaming about for a very long time, but still struggling to identify which path you have to choose for, right? So this obviously, when you have so many jobs, then this is an average salary of a fresher. So if you start from a very beginning today, minimum. So what recently the MNC, all the bigger MNC has announced is when the fresher who is going to be joining their company, their base package is going to be 5 lakhs per annum. That's where we are moving into, guys. Think about it. The fresher who completes his education, before even he completes, he will have an offer with the 5 lakhs per annum package, right? So this is an average salary. I'm telling you, based on different technology which you will learn, you will really have a different career. Okay, so choose something wisely. Choose something which is demanding. Don't choose something which you like. Don't choose something which is easy for you. Choose something which industry is looking for. Then you will see a great change in your career. Alright? Fantastic. So moving on. So this is from the perspective of experienced candidates who are attending this session. If you are into certain technology, then I would suggest that whatever, either you have learned server-side programming, then you have to focus on front-end. If you have learned front-end technology, you have to learn server-side or back-end or cloud. Then you will see a hike on your paycheck. If you really want to be an attractive salary, I'm telling you, you have to choose a skill which is company looking for, which is industry looking for, which is where there is so much of hiring. So you need to be top on the technology. You have to keep your toes on the technology. Ensure that you have all that great skills which industry requires, right? Then that's where your salary will be. Obviously, you have been putting your efforts, then you look for an attractive salary, no doubt. Alright? Okay. So now, what we have understood so far, our question was, why should I learn technology? Why should I join software industry? Or why there is so much need in the software industry? So those are the analytics which I wanted to show you, which will give you a clear idea that why are we talking about certain technology which is very important, and why people are hiring so many candidates today for a software industry. The reason is we have so much need. And how did you understand that? By the way you are using the app. So whatever the application which I showed you, all those applications are used by each individual who are attending the session, and it is making their life easier. Even today we are talking online, right? I'm on live and I'm giving you a very important analytics about your future. That is also happening online. So we are completely depending our life through these web applications. Through these applications only it can be making our life easier. So that's the very important question which we have cleared out in the last few minutes, right? Now how do we build these applications, right? How do you can be part of such applications which has been used by the world? How can you build such enterprise application? That's what I'm going to talk next. Okay. Okay, which technology is best for me, right? That's the question we should come now, right? You have understood that it is important to learn technology. Now we are going to talk about which technology is suitable for you, which you should choose based on today's scenario. Okay. Now before we understand that, let's try to understand the development architecture of software industry, right? If I get an application which I have to develop, okay, so if I get a requirement from my customer and he says, hey, I want to build an e-commerce application. Now what I will do is I'll put down a business requirement document and I'll tell him that, okay, the first section is going to be the presentation layer, which is what you see as an output. If you are opening your Amazon.in on a browser and if you see the output, then it is nothing but a presentation layer. And if you are trying to log in into your application, so you go and you enter your username, you enter your password. When you click login, and your user ID password will be sent to the backend, and it will validate whether this particular user is valid or not, right? So that happens in this business logic layer, which is a logic tier. That's like a backplane. So what it will do, it will validate whether this user exists or not. It keep communicating with your backend, which is your database. So in the database, you actually store the data of the users, the product, the employee, whatever you want to store, even the images, the documents, everything will be stored into your database. So we have now clearly segregated the application development. If you want to build presentation layer, if you want to build a UI, then this is the layer for you. If you want to build a backend system, the business logic, then this is the layer for you. If you want to just work on the queries and manage the data, you want to be a DBA, then this is the layer for you. So these all layers are built basically, independently we are building this application. What does it mean independently? So tomorrow, if I want to replace this middle tier, this logic tier with some other technology, it doesn't affect the client tier or the database layer. So that's the beauty of building applications completely in an independent manner, or you can say loosely coupled. That's what we are trying to do here. Alright, so these are the core areas of IT development. So before we talk about which is best for you, I have to tell you that how these areas are segregated in the IT development. Alright, then what are the technology we have in this each area? That is also very important for you to understand. Then you will be able to choose the right skill which is for you. Okay, so in the front end, we have if we talk about presentation layer, which is your front end, you need to have at least basic understanding of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? You may argue that, hey, there is nothing in HTML. I will not agree to that, because the only language which your browser understands is the HTML. So you need to focus on that. You have to specifically understand the HTML language, and CSS is what is going to help you to provide styling to your application, make your application look better. So you have to focus on CSS, and JavaScript is the language which will make your application more interactive. Okay, then we have frameworks. These frameworks are completely built using the JavaScript. So if you are not good in JavaScript, understanding or working on these frameworks will be really difficult. So that's why we always say, make sure you have to be good at your basics. Okay, your basics has to be right. So once you are good in these basics, then understanding either React or Angular or Vue, it's going to be very, very easy. So our curriculum stands out in a very similar manner. We always give focus to the basics of front end, and then we go into the framework, right? So that's about your client layer, your presentation layer, your front end. Then talking about the back end, now in the back end we have different technologies. We have like PHP, we have Node, Python, Java. So these are the server-side programming which is there in the industry from a very long time. And each technology today has its own framework, right? So when we talk about PHP, it has a Laravel framework. If you talk about Python, it has Django and Flask. Java has Spring. So every technology, every area is not only having programming language, it also has its framework. So today, just if you say that I know Java, is not enough. You need to know also one of the frameworks which Java provides, right? If you say I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, okay, that's good. But what framework you know? That's the question you will get in the interview. So you need to know at least one of these frameworks which I'm showing you on the screen, right? Then you have a database where you have MySQL, Postgre. If we talk about NoSQL databases like MongoDB or CouchDB, so these are the different databases which we have. So if you are knowing all these three skills, if you have at least, if you know at least one framework in the front end, one technology in the back end, and one database, then you become the full stack developer. Okay, so this before we talk about various technologies, I have wanted to tell you that these are the different areas we have, and then in each area what are the skills we have in the industry today. Okay, all right. Now, what kind of applications we have in the industry, right? So basically, you can build a very simple application which is like, like a blog. So in general, we have two different types of applications today. One is static web application and another is a dynamic application. When I say static application, it's nothing but plain text. Okay, it's like an application which is a blog. For a very good example is Wikipedia. Either I log into, or if I go and browse the Wikipedia, or if someone else browses the Wikipedia, the page will give you the same information. It never changes, right? But when I talk about dynamic applications, if I log in, I will have data based on my profile. If someone else log in, he or she will have a data based on their profile or based upon what we have done previously using that application. For example, if you have been using YouTube, and what happens, you will be getting a related data to what you are watching. It's purely, it is again making your life easier. You don't have to go and search similar videos. They do that for you. If you are purchasing some certain products online, then you get a notification that, hey, we have a new product on this particular area, you want to buy it. We have an offer for this product, do you really want to buy it? So it is purely based on your need, your previous history, your likes, your wish list. They get you data based on your profile. So that's what we are calling as dynamic applications today. So in dynamic, we have a lot of applications: single page, e-commerce, progressive, animations. So these are all completely coming under the category of dynamic applications. So people want dynamic applications today. Just think about this. So this was our first application on an internet, a first website which was put on internet in the year of 1991, right? Could you imagine giving you this page, this application, something to browse? Will you be happy using this? You will say this is a document, this is not an application. That's what the first thought you will have. But putting this on an internet in the year of 91 was a big deal. That's where we started. Now just imagine how we have moved on. We buy things, we communicate, we chat with our friends and families and relatives. So all that we do using online today. But on internet, things were made to just read, just to share information. But how we have moved on, we started living on that. So that's the phenomenal difference which I see from 91 in 2022. So that's the change we are seeing today, right? So but getting something like this on that time was very difficult. So we must appreciate that, but we have been moved on now. We can't have something like this and we have been giving to our end users to use it. They'll not use it. You know what is the SLA time for an application? If any application which takes more than 2 seconds to open today, users will go away from that application. They will not even use it. So your application not only will have an interactive, not only will have the functionality, it also needs to be fast. It has to be flexible. It has to be having a great user experience. That's what they are looking from you. Okay, so that's very important. Then now let's come to a very important question. Which skill is right for you? Which skill you must choose for your career? Okay, if you are a person who are a fresher or who is from a non-IT background and who doesn't have any experience in the IT industry, then this is the front end, which is your presentation layer, which we talked about a few minutes before, is the right area for you. Okay, So you have to choose front end as your career, and in front end you have to start learning your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Angular or React. Any of one framework you have to start, right? And then after, if you are good in that, then you can go next. If this is my first choice, which is the best choice for you. If not, then backend. The backend where you have either you can choose Java, .NET, Python, and any of this with the one of the frameworks like Spring Web API and Django. So that's your second choice. Now, people who are already having a knowledge on Java or .NET or any server-side programming, and if you fall under the years of experience around 1 to 4 or 0 to 4, then the right next skill which you have to start is with the front end, no doubt. You must, because now we have a lot of application which is already built using Java, .NET, Python, PHP. Now everybody is moving into a front end framework because there is a high advantage of going into applications or building applications using front end frameworks like Angular or React, because it gives you a great experience. It is very faster. It doesn't puts a load on the server. There are a lot of advantages if I go technically, but I'm telling you that if you are knowing some server-side programming, then this is the right time that you move yourself into the front end as well, right? And then if people can also learn any framework, if they just have knowledge on core Java, then they have to also learn Spring or Spring Boot framework from the backend system. Now, if people are years of experience is 3 to 8, then definitely I would recommend that you go with the front end. That's the first choice I'm telling you, because you have already seen today we have so many web applications. We are completely going away with the Windows applications. I hope you will all agree how we were storing data previously. We had something called floppy, then we had pen drive, flash drive, then we had CD, then we were storing data into our hard disk, into our laptops. Then we started to seeing that also going away, and we want everything to be online. It means we want everything to be on a cloud. So wherever you go, you just need the internet so that you can access your data, you can access your application. So to do that, you need a basic of web interface. So that's why I'm telling you the front end skills today is very, very demanding, because without web you can't survive. I'm telling you, this is the reality, guys. You need to definitely focus on front end skills. Now, people who are not, or who have already experienced a little bit of experience in front end, then you can choose cloud computing also. Like you have Amazon Web Services, Azure, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Provider. So these are the three giants of cloud platforms, and you can choose one of them from the, in the cloud of what I have mentioned here. So that will be also one of your good choices, right? Now, if you are a UI developer, or you've been working in UI design from very long time, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is been your bread and butter, and now you are thinking about what would I do next. The next what you do is you are already picked up a right path. You just have to learn one of the frameworks in the front end, either Angular or React. Once you do that, then you are a person people are looking in the industry. You will be placed with a very attractive salary. Alright, then talking about if you are already having an experience in Angular, React, which is great, and then if you are a 1 to 6 years of experience, then you must focus on your backend, which is your server-side programming, where it could be either Java or .NET. Java is a very huge demand today with one of the frameworks called Spring Boot, so which is very important, right? So you must choose that skill for sure, so that you can claim yourself a full stack developer. And I showed you that the full stack developer is on a very high demand. Then the second choice will be the cloud computing, if you really want to focus on that area. But if you are a person who is experienced in front end and who has experience more than 8 years, then I would say the first choice for you will be the cloud computing, and then you will focus on the backend system. So that should be the go-to skill for you. And if you are a front end and backend experience, then definitely you can just go directly to the cloud platforms, and you will be able to pick one of the platforms and complete your certification, and you can go towards the path of solution architect. Okay, and if you know cloud computing, then I would suggest you will have to pick something scripting language like Python or Java, which will really help you become more expert in your cloud platform. Alright, so this is a very important slide, very important information for you. People will be in a very confused state, which skill I should choose. I'm not a fresher, I'm in a mechanical industry, I'm a non-IT person, I have a break for 2 3 years, I had a personal reason, so I've been trying for government exams. So we get lot of people in these categories, okay, and we always help them. We try to understand their skill, and based on that we give them a right career guidance. We help them to get into industry very smoothly and with all real time experience. So what is an expectation today from the industry is, when you join the company, when you join any organization, you have to be billable from day one. When I say billable, you must start generating revenue from day one. You will not be given time for doing training for 3 months. No, that doesn't work today. What they expect you, when you join, you must come with a skill. It is similar, right? Today we also expect a lot of things. We want everything to happen faster. We want always experts. We want to talk to experts, right? Even if you go for any doctor consultant, we look for whether this person is expert in this particular area or not. So we always look for a specialization, right? Even if you go for having a food, this restaurant doesn't gives me this particular food. This restaurant is specialized for Chinese. This is specialized for South Indian. So like that, we have been moving into our day-to-day life. Then if you have a similar kind of an expectation in your life, then obviously the employer who is going to hire you, who is going to pay you, will have a similar expectation. So you must think from that perspective, that how world is changing day to day, and how you must also have to pick a right skill, how you must also become a specialization in certain field and change your career. Alright, awesome. Then what are the applications which is built using the frameworks which I was talking about? The frameworks which you use in your life, in day-to-day life, is basically built using the framework which I showed you. Excuse me. So the Facebook, Insta, so these are all applications which has been built using this framework which I am telling you to learn, which I'm telling you that make it your career so robust that nobody can tell you that you are the person they are looking for. If you can learn any of these frameworks which I have told you just a minute before, then you will see that it's going to be great change in your career, and you will be also part of an applications which I'm showing you on the screen. You can build applications like that. You can be part of applications who are doing, you can be part of these organizations where they look forward for people like you who can help them. You can actually come up with the great innovation ideas and improvise and help to solve the problem, the common person problem, so that they will also leverage the IT solutions today. Alright? Okay. So now we have understood why technology is very important, why software industry is in a very peak state where people are being hired so much, they are paying everyone so much. The reason is we have understood, right? Because we also need technology in our life. So that's why there is a need. Just not because someone is hiring, it doesn't mean there is a need. They are hiring, there is so many jobs, they are paying so much because there is so much need. Even we want technology today in our life. That's the reason that software industry is in a very high demand, right? Similarly, now we understood what are the technologies good for you. You are now good to know which skill you must choose. Now you have decided which skill to choose. Now you must also know how many hours I really need to dedicate, right? How many hours really I have to put to reach to the goal which we are discussing today, to reach the goal where you are dreaming about. How do I actually get placed? So that is purely we are going to narrow down. I am going to tell you that exactly how many hours you need. So which is very important now, right? So these are the technologies we already discussed, that focused areas are these technologies. If you are planning to talk about front end for HTML and CS, I am telling you just 15 hours. Okay, it's like binge learning, not binge watching. It's like binge practical learning. 15 hours of your life will help you to become a web developer. Just 15 hours. Okay, HTML and CSS which you can focus on. And then you have JavaScript and TypeScript, which requires, if you are very new, then I would say 15 to 20 hours should be well enough time for you to become a person who can start coding in JavaScript. These are the only topics which you need for now. Okay, None other than this. I'm telling you that this is more than enough. We have almost in web development, we have almost placed 280 people in this year itself. In this 6 months, we have placed almost 200 to 300 people, and we have so many more requirements on this particular area, right? So this is very important for you as when it comes to front-end development. Now talking about the back-end, with the framework, you need minimum of 30 to 35 hours to become an expert in any of this field. This is where we are going to spend more time, guys. Hear me out. This is where exactly you need more time. This is where you will be building a project. We will be giving you a real-time project which you have to build, like what you will be doing in your organization when you join your dream job. So that's what we will be doing. We will give you a proper business requirement. You will be tracked. You will have all the wireframes, the UI which you are going to build, all the business logic which you need, and we will give you 2 weeks of time to complete that. And once you do that, you can put that into your resume, and when you just go and hit the floor, you will see how many offers you will get. That's the promise we are going to do now. Okay, so that's what. So put together how many hours you need. So you would have done your graduation, you have spent your 3 years or 4 years, whatever you have done. You have spent so much of time, which is fine. But what I'm asking you from you now is just spend 60 hours of your life. 60 hours is just like you can give me a month's time, and I can ensure that you get into a job with a very good attractive package and with the right skill, and then you will have a great future. That's my promise. Now we come to a very important topic, or this is the question I get from all the people in the industry wherever I go. And I was in one of the colleges last week, and I had this question coming from all these great fresh minds asking that, okay sir, if I take this technology, how's the future is going to be? If I go and learn this particular area, will my future will be great? So that's the question we always have. We always worry about future, or we always want to know whether we are going to the right path or not, or the technology which I'm going to choose will be giving me my dream job or not. So that's a question we always have in our mind, right? So I'm telling you that why software is important, we have understood very clearly, because of there is so much of users and we need so much of applications. One. Second, we understood what are the different technologies we have and which technology is right for you. That's the second question we have now ticked the box. Then third, we talked about that how you can actually, or how many hours you need to learn this technology, right? So that's the third point which we have discussed. Now coming to the final part, where what exactly the future is. This slide gives you a very good understanding that how people are living their life, literally living their life online, and they want applications to live. As I said, more than oxygen, people look for an internet today. That's the truth. We have to accept it. So if you see, in just 60 seconds, we are spending 1.6 million of money online to buying things. We are 69 million messages sent through WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. 500 hours of data is getting uploaded on a YouTube. 500 hours of content gets uploaded on YouTube in just 60 seconds. And this is a number I'm telling you is 2020. When I move on to the next slide, we have a 10% increase across the world. It means that where we had 4.5 billion people on an internet in 2020, today we have 5.2 billion people in 2021, right? And you see the money we spent on Amazon, 283k. It's like 2.8 lakhs dollar in just 1 minute of the day, right? Facebook live receives 44 million of views, 694,000 hours of data getting streamed on YouTube, right? That's how things have been changing, guys. 5.7 million searches. Think about it. In 1 minute, 5.7 million searches happens on a Google. That's a swift change because of all we have seen currently in our life, and everybody wants to be online today. 6 million people shop online. Think about it, right? So we need more and more like this. It doesn't mean that we have so many products we stop here. No, as I said, we still have 49% of the world yet to come online. There are countries who have very limited access to internet, very limited, I would say. So when they join the company, or when they join this era, the amount of applications we need the problems which we have today will be more and more we have to solve it, right? More and more we are using now, we have more and more cyber crimes also, so we have to build applications. See, I'll tell you one important truth. The people who are going to join the industry, you must first understand one thing. You're not going to build or you're not going to code something which is not there. Whatever you're going to code, whatever you're going to develop, it is already there. What you are going to learn is how to exactly understand the coding, how to understand the project, how to debug your application, how to build application which is not vulnerable. If anyone tries to hack it, how I am going to protect my application. All that you have to understand, guys. That's a very important thing which you need to understand. Okay, so this tells you that why I'm telling you that you must learn a technology today because of there is a huge demand in the industry, and you agreed. We have ticked all the boxes, all the confusion which you had about what should I choose, whether software is going to help me, whether I can survive in software industry. You can definitely survive, my friend. There are a lot of opportunities, and you have all the technical people will help you out. There is a big community. There are technical community like Stack Overflow. You can go and post your questions, your queries, and a lot of techies around the world can help you. So don't worry about that. What you need to learn is what industry is expecting, what is the best practices in the industry we need today, how exactly you can code, which is the best practices, how do you error handle it, how do you avoid your application getting vulnerable. All that you have to understand. Not like formatting the data, not like validating data. All that you can learn by yourself. You are really talented about it. Okay. Now, how do I reach this? Right? Now we come to a very important question. So we have understood how things happen, what you have to learn, what is your future. All now it is clear in your mind. Now we are going to talk about how do you reach your dream job, right? How are you going to find it? So what you have to do is you have to start learning your development. It could be any technical skill you can pick up. Either you can do self-learn. There is a lot of blogs, lot of YouTube materials available. I have a great respect for people who can do self-learn. Then what happens is you will have a struggle. You will not be knowing, you will not have a proper structure on these free blogs or videos. You will not know where to start, what are the basics, and how about framework, which framework I should choose, what are the real-time examples. So things like that you will only get from the people who are already working. So you must get trained yourself from an industry experts. The real-time mentors will give you the real-time problems which happens in the industry when you join the organization. They will tell you what are the very important things you must take care. So that's where we will be focusing on. And if you are a person who is looking for a placement, then you definitely need a training which is done by the real-time mentors, people who have an industry experience, right? Then what you can also do is we have a great mentors, we have a great community and credo system. So what we do is we are a team of professionals who are working in an industry who have been in an industry for more than 15 years. We have helped a lot of organizations building enterprise applications in various domains like banking, telecom, and retail and logistics. So we come with a lot of experience and expectations, and we've been helping a lot of people like you to get into an industry, to get into a job which you've been aiming for a very long time in your life. So then this is the place for you. Okay. And we also as I said, we are all people who from a industry. We have a proper structure of each program. Every 20 hours of program will have a small project. You will have a proper assessments provided, and it will be reviewed, and you will be having a one-to-one guidance where we will help you to groom. So I'll tell you one thing, we don't believe in good and bad candidates. We always believe that everyone have their own talent. So if you are a person who is struggling to be part of a bigger group, then I'll tell you that we are the people who help you, guide you, and get into an industry, right? Now your successful future starts here. As I told you that we've been offering many technical skills in our academy from the industry experts who have more than 10 years of experience in the IT industry. They're going to tell you, or they're going to give you the real-time problems, how you have to code, what are the very important things which you have to note down, how do you build applications which are very good in performance, which are flexible, and which can be more reusable. That's the word which people look for. You must build applications which can be reused which will save time when you start building the next application. How the other developers can understand your code, how effectively you have done each of your modules and components. So all that you can learn only for the people who are already working in this industry, who has a real experience in this industry can only help you. Okay, so we have a dedicated placement teams, and we have more than 200 clients to which we regularly placing all these candidates who have been trained by us. So we have a great success stories of, as I said, people with a break, people who are from a different background, people who are freshers, still struggling to find a right job, people who are experienced, they don't know which skill to pick and how to get placed, people who are looking for mock interviews, people who are looking to know why they are not able to get placed. So whatever career issues you have, whatever the guidance you need when it comes to career, then we are going to definitely help you out, right? As I said, we are going to help you out to get placed in just 60 hours. I'm not even counting the days, I'm telling you, just 50 to 60 hours you give us, we will change your life. That's the promise, and we promise you the 100% job. If not, we pay you back. That's what Credo follows. That's what we will be doing for a very long time, right? And we have a good community internally in our organization. In Credo, we have a lot of people who can answer if you have any queries. We handhold, we ensure that all your problems in your project is also solved, and we will give you lifetime access to all the session videos. And if there any new framework comes, we keep giving you all those as a free. Okay, because you become our alumni, you are the people who will be connected with us, right? So now you decide whether you want to be person who will be just telling, okay, this guy is in the software industry, okay, he is also in the software industry, why I can't be. If you still keep thinking about it, things will not change. This is something you have to bring a change in yourself, right? You have to decide that yes, I'm going to go into my next level. I'm not just going to sit and say that because he did engineering, he is into IT. No, I'm not going to say because he did computer science engineering, he can be only in software industry. No, you have to take step. You can be from any background, guys. I'm telling you, you can plan for one-to-one career guidance sessions even with me. I can help you, I can plan your career. Just talk to us, understand the way you want to move forward in your life, then you will see a difference. That's the promise we are going to make here. Okay, so these are the success stories. These are the people who have been successfully placed by us, who came from a different careers, who came from a different background, not even an IT background, not their even their education was not IT, but still we were able to help them getting placed. These are the recently placed candidates in one of the MNCs, right? Now, your career is our goal. I'm telling you guys, stay tuned with us, stay connected. We help you getting placed for sure. We give you the real-time training. We have a lot of fresher opportunities and experienced opportunities. So we are also taking care of you until you reach your goal. We are going to stay tuned with you, right? So we also have a great community in the LinkedIn. So you can be connected with us through our LinkedIn URL here. You can ask for any sessions, free career guidance sessions, and we have a lot of webinars being done every week through our YouTube channel. So you can be connected with us, and we have been providing free trainings on various technologies which you can, like 30-40 hours you can learn free from us. And we will also help you with a lot of whatever opportunities we get from our clients or whatever we have in industry. We share all those information so that you can be technically you can be strong, you will be top of your technology. All right, thank you everyone. It was great having you all in this session. I appreciate you guys taking this time. So thank you so much. You can post your questions on the chat and we will be happy to answer that. thank you guys, thank you everyone. Be safe and sound. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.